everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Pixie Palace. And today we're back for the weekly card reading starting October 30th, 2022. And I am back after a hiatus. I apologize I wasn't able to do the reading last week, but unfortunately I wasn't feeling all that hot. So time kind of got away from me and a health issue was happening, so I decided to skip a week. I appreciate all of your patience and your love and support during that time. But as you know, I'm back in action and ready to do this reading. As we start this next week, we are going into the Halloween holiday. Plus, on the 30th exactly, we're going into Mars Retrograde. And this is going to be a time of a lot of emotional turmoil and energy. Now, we can determine how it goes for us. There may be a lot of negative feelings, or what we say are negative, like anger, frustration. There's also desire, sexuality, all different types of things that we normally don't have on the front burner. As we go through all this ups and downs during this time, it is up to us to keep our eye on the prize, keep going forward, take care of ourselves. Self-care is extremely crucial right now. Even if you can't really seem to find that work-life balance, get the extra hour of sleep, get hydration, get the right foods, do the meditation, do the stuff that really keeps you anchored, grounded, and healthy. And that goes for physical and mental health. That's one message that's coming through for the whole collective. As we go into the Mars retrograde, there's also a time of mindfulness and reflection. And there may be some things as we approach the end of the year that we really haven't been able to get to, or that maybe we're regretting that we didn't reach a certain goal. Now is the time to take a look at that, see what goals still serve us, and maybe going forward, even if it's baby steps towards achieving that goal. Now, it doesn't mean you have to finish it this week or even by the end of the year, but just getting started can really empower you and actually be able to deal with the emotional ups and downs that we'll go through in this energy cycle. And point in case, Timmy has been pacing back and forth all day today, and we're not even in the beginning of Mars retrograde yet. I don't base it on retrogrades all the time anyway, but he's obviously restless about something. But lately, my sleep has been very erratic. I'll sleep several hours and then wake up. My body seems to be going back to European time, but not quite. So it's kind of back and forth. So right now, at least for myself, I'm trying to go with the flow a little bit, not force things, and just deal with whatever comes up at the time. Being present really helps, especially when you're dealing with certain emotions, whether they're good or bad. Just to keep yourself balanced, in check a little bit, but also allow yourself the experience of all these things. So as we get into it, we're going to do a 3-card draw as we always do, and I'm excited to see what the universe has to say this week. So let's go and see what the cards have to say. Welcome back. Here we are about to do the reading, and it's going to be really interesting this week to see what the energies and the universe have in store for us. As we start the Mars retrograde, it will be a time of self-reflection and mindfulness. So I'm really, really curious to see what messages come through and what resonates for all of us. As usual, I'm going to be using the Oracle of the Fairies card deck by Karen Kay, a card deck that is beloved by many of you. And as always, the link is in the description below if you want to buy your own copy on Amazon. Okay, these are the cards that popped out this week. From first glance, you can tell that we have a very, very powerful theme here. And it's really interesting because it's almost like a transformation in itself. It shows the journey that we all will be taking this week. First, there is healing, then find balance, and the last one is flourish. So let's get into it. The first card that we have is healing. Now is the time for you to give or receive healing. Everyone has a natural ability to heal others. Yes, even you. This is such a potent card this week because a lot of us have been dealing with shadow work, improving ourselves and our lives, showing up for ourselves and showing up for others while trying to balance out the demands of everyday life. Some of us are really going to be diving deep within ourselves to finally get to the heart of what our triggers are, what we need to work on in order to go forward in life in a much more positive way. Not all of this is easy, and a lot of it is stuff we really don't want to deal with. And it's very natural to feel a little resistance in this because it's not natural to want to work on those deep-rooted things. It really isn't the way that we are as humans. We tend to shy away from what's hard and what takes time, and especially in today's society. And I laugh because we're instant gratification. It seems to be more so as the years go by. But at the same time, a lot of us are starting to awaken to a different kind of mindfulness. And we're coming to the realization that the instant gratification isn't what it always cracked up to be. It really is important to take time to go within and really heal ourselves, really work on what we need to work on, because otherwise we're going to stay in the same place in our lives. We're not going to get anywhere, and really it's kind of one of those things that we're just going to keep spinning our wheels and going nowhere. Also, we can be very healing for others. A lot of us have been dealing with anxiety and depression, still some fear out there, because the world is kind of a chaotic place. I say that every week, but it still is happening. I think it always will be to an extent. However, it's how you look at it. How can you show up for yourself? How can you show up for others? Sometimes it's just a matter of listening to someone who really needs to be heard. It doesn't mean you have to solve their problems. A lot of the time they're not looking for you to solve anything. It's just being heard and being understood in a way that shows that they matter. And even though, yes, we should do that for ourselves, it is nice to have someone really recognize what we're feeling and that our thoughts matter and that our feelings are valid. I think this is a really important aspect of the message this week. And sometimes we can do it through laughter, pay it forward for someone, show up for them when they least expect it, and meaning it without expecting something in return. That's where we really heal others. Just being in the presence of someone you know that has your back no matter what. It doesn't mean you always have to agree. Sometimes you'll agree to disagree, and that's okay too. But you can still show up for one another, support one another in each other's journey, no matter how different it is. And also, some of us are going back to Reiki healing, which is a touch healing therapy. And it's really, really a beautiful thing because you can do it long distance, you can do it physically. There's the energy transmission that happens through it that really can heal people. And it can be mentally or physically. I've done it myself, long distance. And granted, I haven't done it for a while, but I really was pleasantly surprised how powerful it can be when you really, really believe in it and you really put your best energy forward to help one another. It's amazing what us humans can do. We're a lot more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And when it's in the power of doing good and helping one another, that's what makes it more powerful. It's the energy of love in all forms. So think of someone in your life, whether it's yourself or someone else, that really needs a healing touch or a healing word or just an ear to listen, and do that for them this week. Show up for them. And even if you're having your own problems and your life is all in chaos, sometimes doing that can heal you too, because you know you're doing good for someone and you're putting value out in the world just by doing that simple thing. So it's actually a win-win when you really think about it. The second card is Find Balance. And you know, if you've been seeing my readings all these weeks, we have seen this one before. And as always, the universe will repeat certain messages if they're really needed. So find balance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime. and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. And yes, I would say an amen to that part. I've actually been doing more naps lately myself. My sleep has been really weird lately. I've been very busy. I had a lot on my mind. But also, even when I'm relaxed and feeling peaceful, I'm still sleeping like crazy. So I know my biological clock is changing the sleep patterns, and sometimes that just happens. But finding balance is something I'm struggling with right now, and I know a lot of us are. A lot of us tend to be either workaholics or maybe not do anything at all. Always one of those things is one end of the spectrum to the other. And unfortunately, that's just human life. It depends on the life demands that we deal with. It depends on certain realities of paying the bills or getting your content out there to achieve your goals and your dreams. And while there's nothing wrong with that, when you forget to take care of yourself, like do the basic things like sleep, take a nap when you really need it, listening to your body when it needs a certain food or certain vitamins, going outside to get a little vitamin D in the sunlight, what have you. And it can even be just journaling or doing some art therapy, maybe going to the spa and getting a massage. It really depends on the person, and everybody's different, so there's no cookie cutter way of finding balance. But what's really important is that we do this. Apparently the universe is noticing that a lot of us are saying that we will, but not actually putting it into practice. So see what works for you. Sometimes maybe cutting yourself off at a certain time if you work from home. Stop work at a certain hour. Maybe take a shower, do a meditation. Do that transitional activity that will tell your mind and body that you're going from work to relaxation. I'm starting to do that myself now. And it really, really works. There's a lot of little hacks that you can do to really find that balance. The most important thing is, once you find that balance, don't expect it to stay that way. And I had to learn that the hard way. Because sometimes when you think, oh, I found balance, I work these hours, I relax these hours, and everything's great. And it may be for quite a while. But life is very unpredictable. It will throw you little curveballs. It will mess things up sometimes. So sometimes it might be one day of workaholic time, but then take the next day if you can, or the next week, to really rest and not too much. Just because you're not physically productive and you choose to relax and rest, that doesn't mean you're not productive in general. You're being productive in your own self-care. You're being productive in finding that balance. So it's just knowing when to listen to your body, trusting your intuition, and if at all possible, going with how you feel. If you don't feel like doing a certain thing one day, that's okay. As long as you don't stay in the energy, as long as you don't go to not doing anything at all, it's okay to take a day off. It's okay to relax. Or if you have been a little lax lately, write down some goals that you want to achieve. Do a couple things a day. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just do 1 to 3 things a day. And if you got those things done, you know you produced enough. And if you get more done, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. So there's a lot of little different ways. And if you guys want a video about little hacks that you can do about this, let me know in the comments below. I would mind doing a video on that, but only if you find that valuable. But all in all, find balance in any way you can, even if it's just taking a couple breaks during the day. Have a cup of tea or coffee, meditate, spend time with your loved ones, and show up for yourself in the self-care and working hard for your goals. And the last card is Flourish. The Lotus Flower Fairy, say that 3 times fast. The Lotus Flower Fairy tells you to learn from experience and shed your inner light on any unclear areas of your life or those of others. This is a very profound message because a lot of us are working towards our goals as usual, and we're in the energy of seeing the fruit of our labors. We're seeing growth. We're expanding in our awareness, and we're seeing our endeavors leveling up. And it's a beautiful time to see all that as we go into the colder months. But as we go into the hibernation of fall and winter, or at least most of us do, it's important to remember to look at the areas that we need to work on. There may be some things we've neglected, there may be some things we put to the back burner, and that's okay, because you can't do everything all at once. Sometimes you have to prioritize things. But there may have been some things you really put off, maybe forgot about, been meaning to get to that, but you think, oh, the next day I'll get to that, oh yeah, I'll get to it, and you never do. This is the time to maybe look at a couple of those areas. Just even looking at one thing and deciding whether that's something that will help you flourish in your journey, if it still serves you or if you need to let it go. This is also a good time to let go of things or people or events, what have you, that don't serve you anymore. It doesn't mean you have to be angry at anybody. It doesn't mean you hate anybody. And it doesn't mean you don't appreciate what you've done in the past. But sometimes we have to let go of things in order for the new energy to come in. And this is a constant process. This is not a one-time deal. You may do this one year and realize the next year, oh wow, I'm in a totally different state of mind, in a totally different place in my life. This no longer serves me. So let it go. Find a way to be grateful for it. Thank it in a certain way, if you will, in a certain energy. Thank it for what it's taught you, what it's helped you with, and then let it go. It's really amazing what this can do, because it'll free up that space for the new energy to come in, maybe new people in your life, might even find more of your soul family, or just a new inner peace that you didn't feel quite like before. And that's where you'll flourish. You'll flourish in prosperity, you'll flourish in your mindset, and you'll flourish in your relationships. And it's amazing because a lot of us think when we're in a comfortable zone, this is all it's going to be, this is the way it's going to be forever. And in some ways we may want it to be, and it may be okay like that. But there are a lot of ways that change is inevitable. Change is the only constant. So we have to welcome it and embrace it in order to keep expanding, keep leveling up, if you will, and keep becoming better versions of ourselves. And it's really, really important. Change is scary sometimes, even if it's a positive thing, but it's definitely for the highest good. So just remember that this week as you allow yourself to flourish, and be supportive to others who are flourishing. Even if somebody's winning and you don't feel like you're winning right now, be grateful for their success. Be happy for them. Be genuinely happy. Because when you are in that energy, that's when good things will start coming for you. It all comes back to whatever you focus on, you'll get more of. It's really interesting. There's a lot of universal laws out there, and sometimes we forget about them. But when we look at it, it really is true. It's being in the be, do, have mindset. Well, there you have it. That is this week's card reading. And you know what? I'm going to tell you how wonderful and how positive it was. Even though there are a couple of little gentle reminders, things you need to be aware of, it all in all is very positive energy. It's going to be a good week. And even if you're in a place where you're feeling kind of stagnant or negative right now, just take heart. Take one step at a time. You don't have to run a race. Just show up for yourself and show up for others. So if you like these kind of readings, please click like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, but more importantly, it helps the Pixie Dust community grow, and it will show the messages to others who need them. And always take a look at my community tab. I update it daily, either with morning messages, shout outs to other content creators, or just a crazy little surprise every once in a while as well. It's definitely worth looking. Even if I don't post a video that day, the community tab is always active. So with that, I hope you guys all have a beautiful week. Keep going for your dreams, and always know you are enough. Until the next time, to know yourself is to know your truth. Namaste.